Go.
Hello, hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to Elite Quantum Self-Mastery. And I'm here with my good friend and colleague, Mark. And today we're going to talk about a really fun and exciting topic, and that is the 4 steps to mastery, or simply learning something new. And we'll go over these 4 steps and some questions around that. So the first step to learning something new is called unconscious incompetence. It's where you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And
And yeah. And thinking or to give an example on that particular step, think about when most of us drive and when we first think about driving, we really don't know the road rules. We don't know how the car operates. So consciously, we just don't know. And of course, we're incompetent in doing any of that because anyone who's let a child or let someone who's not driven before behind the wheel, you could really be taking your life into your own hands. Yeah, so that's just an example of that. Yeah.
good example. And then you want to tell us about the second step, Mark.
Well, the second step is when we get to that place, uh, which is called competent or conscious. So we are conscious, but we're still incompetent. So it's conscious incompetence.
So we know what we don't know. And
Yes. I'm sorry, I should have added that. But yes, we we know what we don't know. Or yeah, we're aware that we just don't know.
for example, if I see someone playing the piano, like my dad took me to concerts when I was little, and it was just amazing, but I knew that I could not do that.
Indeed.
And then the third step is um, conscious competence. So we know what we know.
And an example of that, so whilst if we'll use something a bit different. When we start to learn how to play a new sport, uh, for instance. So if I take baseball, so because we're on the third step, let me just progress back quickly to make this more relevant. So when you first go out, you don't know what you don't know as far as what you need to know to learn to play baseball. And then all of a sudden, once you go through a few trainings, then you get to that conscious but still incompetent. So you're aware of what you don't know, but you're still not good at it. So you may not be good at catching the ball. You may not be good at accurately throwing. But when you get to the conscious competence step, then you've actually gotten to a state, dare I say, of mastery, where you're catching the ball quite okay, you're throwing very accurately, so you've got both of those skills down. And that's the example that I would use for conscious competence, because now and then you're also competent at performing the skill or task that you're doing. Yeah.
And but you're also still thinking about it. Like,
Oh,
I'm going to throw this fastball and I'm
yes.
thinking about how I'm
Yeah.
going to do it and release. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the fourth and final step.
Well, the
So,
fourth and final step is when you get to that place where you're unconscious but competent. So yeah, and that's when you're not even thinking about what you know, and you're competent about
I think a good example of that is simply walking, because if I'm going to walk from here to my kitchen, I don't think, well, first I have to put my hand here and hand here, stand up. Then I have to, which foot, left foot, right foot. We just do it. And it's also another way to talk about that is muscle memory, or
Yeah.
like our thought patterns that we've developed all of our life.
Yeah. Yes.
And then given those 4 steps, as we're learning something new, when do you think most people quit and give up? Like, I'm never going to learn how to play the piano. It's too hard. I don't have any talent for this, no skill. Sorry, not going to do it.
Yeah. So what I would, excuse me, what I would ask the audience at the moment is just to think about that. Just take a few seconds to just give that some thought. So we've talked about the 4 stages. At what stage do you think that people quit? So we'll just give you a few seconds to ponder that, and then we'll jive in with uh, with the response. All right, is that enough? Oh, good. So actually, people um, quit or stop at step 2, which is conscious incompetence. And many people quit at step 2 because this is where frustration, excuse me, thank you. This is where frustration often peaks. So where we get really frustrated. So we become aware of what we don't know, and then we start to doubt our abilities, which then triggers the primary fear of not quite being good enough. And it's at this point the brain starts to rationalize, or we individuals start to make up excuses to leave that situation, because it's uncomfortable, and then and as we know that hinders process. So um, yeah.
And guess
So
what? This is the best, most exciting part of this whole deal. When you feel that way, when you're frustrated, your brain is creating an immense amount of myelin, which is a substance that actually hardwires those neural pathways where you can do something without thinking about it. 10 times more myelin than normal in your brain. So if you feel frustrated, that's great. You are about to have a breakthrough. That's when you need to keep going, because you'll
exactly.
soon get it. And so embrace that feeling, embrace the discomfort, because if we're in a comfort zone, feeling comfortable, guess what? We're not learning or growing.
Yes, there's a yeah, and we want this whole um Margo and I, we're this whole journey that we're on. It's not just about raising consciousness, it's becoming aware. Raising consciousness to me is just becoming aware of of not just these steps, but then also taking that action to mastery, which is to get to that place of unconscious competence, and that's where we would all want to be with everything that we do. Um, but as with anything new, you go through those 4 levels, and it's natural. It's natural that we go through that. We go through it without even Margo and I were sharing with you today what it is, but this is just something we go through and have been going through since we've been alive when you really think about it. So yeah. Well, I hope you have gotten something out of this from us today. I know Margo and I are quite enjoying ourselves sharing these little tidbits and knickknacks and things with you. Yeah, Margo, would you like to close? Hmm.
Absolutely. How much fun is this to go through this journey together? And like Mark said, we want you to come along this journey with us. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them below. And also, please feel free to share this with anyone you think it might help.
Yeah, indeed.
Thanks so much. Have a great
Yeah,
day, everyone. Much love.